Hi, welcome to my first clean with me. Welcome to my kitchen after a meal with my family. You can see I have quite a bit of work to do here. I usually hand wash my dishes, and that's why I have them placed this way in the sink. Lots of things to put away. It's gonna be a good one, guys. Usually I start off by trying to put my items into different zones. I put the food away in the pantry, I put the dishes close by the sink, I put any of my utensils away that I can. Anything that belongs in the trash, I throw in the trash, and I'm basically trying to make my surfaces clear. So here I'm clearing off the table, wiping it down so that it is done. And at least once this is done, I have it marked off my list and I don't have to worry anymore, and I can at least have one great clean surface. So like I said, my family was visiting, and normally we don't have the table in this position in the kitchen, so I'm just moving the chairs out of the way and the table back into the position that we normally have it. Right now I found a stain on the wall that I'm wiping off with my microfiber cloth that I got from the dollar store. So now I'm going to tackle the dishes. I like to hand wash my dishes, and I try to do it in a way so that I conserve water. So you can see me here. I'm basically using the water that's already in the dishes, and I'm scrubbing everything down with soap just to make sure that they're all nice and ready to be washed. All of the food and the oils are scrubbed off of it, and I do it in a way so that I try to nest things of similar size into each other. So you can see I have bowls on top of some of these Chipotle lids that we like to recycle, and then plates. I kind of stack all of the flat items together and all of the utensils together. So now I'm tackling my particularly grimy bakewares. You can see I do give them extra scrubs, and I did save those for last. And the reason is so that the oil from the sponge doesn't move over to the items that aren't as dirty. I found that this uses the least amount of soap. It's more effective because while I'm scrubbing the less dirty items, these very dirty items have a really nice long soak. So then all of the grime comes off much better. Now I'm done scrubbing the dishes, and here I'm washing down the sink so that it's nice and clean for me to put my dishes back in. And I try to, again, nest the dishes so that they fit much neater into the sink when I'm washing. And the goal is to wash one item and to have the water from the runoff of that first item go into the items that are in the sink. So you're really kind of getting some of the soap off your other dishes while you're getting soap completely off of the item that you're focusing on at the time. So you can see here I use my pink cloth again. I love that cloth. I got it years ago from the dollar store, and I'm using that to help me really get all the soap and the food off, and it comes off so easily this way. I'm just using some warm water, hot water. Actually, my hand was burning. I had to adjust the temperature, and all of the dishes are coming out super clean. This whole process maybe took me about 10 minutes to do this whole sink full of dishes. You can also see that the sink is filling up with the water that I'm using to wash the dishes. And the reason I do this is to clean the garbage disposal. I always had issues with drainage and weird smells from the sink, and I discovered that if I fill the sink with water and then release the water into the garbage disposal, that completely flushes it out, so I don't have a lot of those weird smells anymore. So now that I'm done with the dishes, I'm gonna spray down my countertop. I just use a simple mixture of rubbing alcohol, water, and some essential oils. And I just go over with my pink cloth again, and I try to slough all of the crumbs and the dirt into the sink. I found it's really effective to just do long strokes, and every time I wipe, I try to wring out the excess water from my cleaning solution and get all the crumbs. You see me crouching down there looking at the side view to make sure I got all the crumbs out. So now I'm going to process all of the items that I kind of put in this area so that I could put them in the refrigerator or their respective homes. And then I just go ahead and wipe down that area. You've probably noticed the earbuds in my ear. Right now I'm listening to an audiobook. The book is called Mindset: The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. The book has been really eye-opening so far. I'm just on chapter 2. The author talks about how there's 2 foundational thoughts, basically. One where intelligence is static, fixed. You cannot change it. You're basically born with a fixed amount of intelligence. And the other is intelligence is something that can be fostered and grown and cultivated by learning and changing, and that these mindsets can lead to behavior traits that can indicate our future success or failure. So she's ultimately saying that through something that you can control, your mindset, you can affect profoundly your future. The author talks about a scientific experiment that ultimately led her to writing this book. And I just thought it was so fascinating. She basically had a group of kids, and she gave the kids a really easy math puzzle, one where she was pretty much setting up everybody for success. She split the group in half, and half of the kids she told, "Oh wow, you did a good job. Well done. You're so smart." She's indicating that the intelligence is static and that it's innate. There's something that the kids are born with. And then the other kids, she told them, wow, well done. You know, you must have tried really hard. And there she's indicating to the kids that, yes, they had a success, but it was through work and persistence, grit, that they got there. Now, her second test, she gave the same group of kids a more difficult puzzle to solve. And when the kids from the first group, the one that were treated as if they had a intelligence was innate, they were just born smart, they didn't even try. Some of them refused to take the test, or they called it stupid. And then in the second group, those kids were more likely to actually give the test a try. And the result was that they ultimately earned higher scores than the first group. And what was so fascinating about this study was that the 40% of the kids who were praised for their intelligence, when given the opportunity, they chose to lie about their scores. So that kind of proves that congratulating these kids just on their raw, quote-unquote, innate intelligence, it instilled in them a fear of failure so that they wouldn't even try, and they'd go so far as to lie to cover up the fact that maybe they weren't just born smart. In Dweck's book, she goes on to give many examples about this fixed mindset that you were born intelligent versus the growth mindset where intelligence can be cultivated through hard work and failure. And the end result is that you can ultimately change your life if you can adopt a growth mindset. If you have that growth mindset, you will always succeed. I highly recommend this book if you can get your hands on it. I just borrowed it through my local library to listen to the book through Cloud Library. If you have Audible, that's a great resource, but I do recommend this book. It sends a really powerful message, and I'm going to encourage my now teenage son to listen to it as well. Now going back to the cleaning, you can see I'm using my Hoover floor mate to clean my floor. I love this machine. It gets up so much dirt that I can't see. The water comes out dirty every time I use it. I use it probably about once every 4 to 6 weeks or so. It's only really my husband, my son, and myself living in this house, so it doesn't get that dirty. But the dirt really does get picked up. I have run the machine a second time after my first cleaning, and the water does come out pretty clear. So the floor is getting very clean while I use this machine. The key is to use boiling hot water, and that always lifts up all of the dirt. Whatever's stuck onto the floor, it will pick it up, and I feel that hot water sanitizes the floor as well. I use very little cleaner with this machine. I don't use the cleaner that comes with it anymore because it's too expensive. I just use Lysol in the machine, or even rubbing alcohol does a really great job, and it hasn't affected my machine at all. I've had this machine for at least 7 years now, and it's been going really well. This part of the video to me is so satisfying. You can see all of the water lines coming up, and it just tells me that I'm getting every inch of the floor and I'm doing a really good job cleaning. This here is our dining room area, but we don't use it as a dining room. We just kind of use it for as a homework area, or for work. I do work from home, so this area gets quite a bit of traffic from me, but not a lot of outside dirt gets tracked in. I'm always so disgusted by the water that comes out of it, but it is really oddly satisfying. That was my second change of water for this machine, and I think I go through 3 changes of the water. It does cover quite a bit of area with one fill of the solution. Because I do this so infrequently, I try to do a really good, thorough job, so this took me probably about an hour to do. I try to go over each area at least 2 times. Some of the really bad areas I go 3-4 times. Every time I push the machine forward, I'm releasing water, and when I pull back, that's when the dirty water is being sucked up and pulled back into a different reservoir of the machine. So the clean water and the dirty water never mix. So I'm not pushing around any dirt when I'm cleaning. I'm actually sucking that dirty water into the machine. So now I'm moving up to the upstairs bathroom and I'm cleaning the floors there. I don't do this frequently at all. Maybe twice a year I'll clean it. Most of the time I do touch-ups with just some disposable wipes that I can use on the floor, but once or twice a year I'll do this just to make sure that everything's really clean. I love that the hot water is sanitizing the floor, and the machine does a really nice job scrubbing. When I use disposable wipes, there's always some sort of streak or residue. So I really love when I can have enough energy to come up here and do the bathrooms. The machine is heavy, it is loud, and it's difficult to maneuver, but I feel that the benefits are worth it. So now I'm going to start cleaning the laundry room floor. I have the camera set up on my dryer, and that's how I'm filming this. I have never washed the laundry room floor with this machine just because it's so bulky, but I figured since it's up here and I have the energy, why not? Okay, so now I'm done with this area and I'm going to put all the items back, the bin and the little rug. Another thing about this machine, and I am not sponsored at all by Hoover, I just really love this machine. Another thing is that you probably saw me before vacuuming that car rug. This machine can vacuum as well as wash. So the way the vacuum works is the spin brushes don't run, but the suction is going. So it's pulling up some of the dirt from the rug. Now I've moved on to the master bath here, and I'm just cleaning the floor as I did with the others. And again, this doesn't get that dirty because this is the bathroom just my husband and I use, so it doesn't get that dirty. One more feature about this Hoover Floor Mate is there's 3 settings. There's dry, wash, and vacuum. And the dry works such that it lowers down a squeegee in the front of the machine, and that scrapes your floor and it pulls up the water. I hardly ever use that function because I am using boiling hot water. The water almost immediately evaporates But you can see I do have tile floors throughout. If it's not tile in my house, then it's carpet. I do know that wood floors do require a different treatment. So if you do have wood floors, then I guess that's when you would use the squeegee. So I'm finally done, and I'm so happy to be putting this machine away. I do have to warn you that coming up there is going to be some footage of me pouring the dirty water into the sink just to show you how much dirt gets picked up. Look away now if you're squeamish. I slow-moed this and I can't stop watching it. It's so oddly satisfying to see this dirt being poured down the drain. So here I'm just washing out the parts of the machine. This has taken so little maintenance. All I do is rinse out the various parts. You can see that one part there that contains the filter. This is the dirty water holder, and I just rinse that out to get the dirt out. And then this, I'm dumping out the extra solution. This is the solution reservoir, and I rinse that out just to get rid of some of the residue. And that's pretty much it. The only additional part that I have to regularly change is the little filter, but I just buy those from Amazon, and those are the generic models that have never given me any issues on this machine. And that's all I've done for 7 years to keep this machine running, and I hope that it lasts me another 7 years. So here I'm just cleaning out my toilet really quickly. I kind of take an unconventional approach to cleaning toilets. I like to use just whatever cleaner I have on hand. I use extra laundry detergent, which was the blue powder that you saw me pouring in there. And in that bottle, I have some Lysol, and I just spray it on, and I use some napkins to rub away all the dirt. Generally, I try to be more green and zero waste, and I do use a lot of microfiber cloths around my house, but with the toilets, I don't feel comfortable doing that. There's just too many germs and yuck for my liking. And here I'm rubbing down the walls and trying to get all the frequently touched surfaces clean. I'm just using a baby wipe that I sprayed with some of the Lysol, and I'm just cleaning away some of the dirt and the dust. So now I'm ready to move to the downstairs powder room. I definitely want to wash my hands right now before I do that. Here I'm using some Odoban in the downstairs bathroom. I just kind of spray it everywhere, and then I use some napkins to wash it off. And while that's sitting and doing its job, I'm wiping down all of the handles in the door and the side of the door and the light switch, just to make sure that everything's clean. And for the napkins that I use for my toilet cleaning, I just get those from the dollar store. I use 2 of them at a time, and I found them to work way better than any towel that I have used before. And it's very cheap. You get over, I think, 200. So that's pretty much 100 cleanings that I can get out from one of those packets. And now you'll see me cleaning the bowl with one of my unusual cleaners. I end up using some toothpaste, which works surprisingly well. This was a toothpaste that my husband and I didn't particularly care for. It kind of caused us to have sensitivity issues, and I thought, well, instead of wasting it, maybe I can use it to clean things. And I found that putting just maybe the same amount that you would put on your toothpaste, putting that amount into the bowl and using the scrubber to scrub the bowl, it just scrubs it so clean, and there's a minty fresh smell that comes out of it. It's amazing. You have to try that. So that's the end of my clean with me. I hope you liked my video. Please like and subscribe if you do. Thanks.